The year is 1926. America's drowning in its own morality. Prohibition is the law of the land. No booze, no bars, no benders. At least not legally. But if you think Americans just stopped drinking, think again. They didn't call it the Roaring Twenties because of quiet tea parties. Speakeasies were everywhere. Bootleggers ran empires. And the government? Well, let's just say Uncle Sam was getting impatient. So they made a decision, a choice. A cold, deliberate act that would never make it into your high school textbooks. They poisoned the alcohol. On purpose. They say the truth sets you free. But the thing about truth is, it rarely shows up wearing a name tag. Sometimes it's buried in a forgotten archive. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight. And sometimes, truth is laced with poison and poured neat into a glass. This is what you weren't told. Tonight, I'm taking you back to the 1920s, an era of gangsters, gin joints, jazz, and judgment. But this story isn't about Al Capone or bathtub gin. No. This one's darker, colder, more calculated, because this time, the killer wore a badge. Here's how it went down. Bootleggers were using industrial alcohol, the stuff meant for cleaning floors and fueling lamps. They'd strip it clean, refine it, and turn it into drinkable liquor. So the feds said, if they drink it, they'll die. And then they made sure of it. The US government ordered manufacturers to add lethal chemicals, methanol, chloroform, benzene, straight into the mix. Not to make it taste bad. Not to give you a headache. To kill you. They called it denaturing. I call it chemical warfare. And the body count? Let's just say the morgues weren't empty. It started slowly. A few blind, a few dead, then more. By the end of 1926, over 400 people had dropped dead in New York City alone. By 1930, more than 10,000 American citizens were poisoned to death by their own government. No arrest, no apology, no trials, just whispers and headlines buried beneath the crossword puzzle. And what did the men in charge say? One bureaucrat shrugged and said, "The government is under no obligation to protect the lives of criminals." Criminals? Or just folks looking for a little escape from the cold grind of life? They weren't gangsters. They were school teachers, war veterans, mothers, fathers, lovers, ordinary Americans, and their government declared open season. No public outcry, no televised trial. Because in the 1920s, the truth didn't travel fast, and people trusted the men in suits. But let me ask you something. If a government once chose death over disobedience, if it once viewed its own people as acceptable collateral damage in the name of control, what else have they done? What quiet horrors are still being buried in folders marked classified? Because history doesn't just repeat itself. Sometimes it evolves. And the poisons? They just get harder to detect. You've just heard What You Weren't Told. If this episode stirred something in you, share it, like it, and click on the subscribe button. Truth isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Signing off for now, but remember, the world is not as it seems, and history is written by the survivors, not the innocent. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and always question what you weren't told.